that here is a book which is about cancel culture, and it's by Julie Burchill. Here it is. And I haven't read it all yet. I only got it yesterday. And it's very, very good. It's very funny. And it looks at all the problems we've had in the last 10 years, whether they be to do with race, to do with transgender issues or gender issues, etc., 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 meticulously reported. And it was cancelled. And it was cancelled after they'd agreed the contract. There was no problem with the book. They didn't say there was anything wrong with the book. Don't forget, this is Julie Burchill we're talking about, who's a pretty well-renowned writer and has had enormous success with books over the last 30 and 40 years. A very, very good writer. And they cancelled it because they thought she was Islamophobic. It's beyond imagination, except that this is happening more and more often with books. And I know a very senior journalist, former journalist, who has recently written a book, and it would be explosive. And any publisher would want it, because this is a very senior bloke who knows all the powers within the industry and can drop a few mines and bombs down on a whole bunch of very important people. But he had a hell of a struggle getting his book published, because he was considered to be right of centre. And this is a problem. I've had the problem as well. I've written a few books, and there is within the publishing firms, there is now a coterie of people who try to stop stuff being published by people who they don't like. Now, the company who refused to publish this book was a publisher called Liddle. So you viewers can do your bit by refusing to buy any books by Liddle. And they publish a lot of books, and some of them are good books. One of the books you must refuse under any circumstances to buy is this book, which is The Great Betrayal by me, because I was published by Liddle before all this happened. But I want nothing more to do. And you wouldn't be published by them now, Rod? You would boycott them? I'm having nothing to do with them. I would have nothing to do with them whatsoever. It was talked about that my next book was going to be with Liddle. Not a hope in hell. I wouldn't go near them with a barge pole. But this is happening more and more often.
Yeah.
That in an attempt to make themselves seem woke, to seem au courant, to seem with the current agenda, they have committees of young people who are decidedly intolerant about what they wish their publishers to publish. And so Julie's book has gone to Academia Press in Washington, and good luck to it, because it's a good book.
Rod, it is really disturbing to think now that even folk on the centre-right are considered extremists in the world of publishing. But I actually think that's where we're at.
Well, I wonder if J.K. Rowling was trying to get a novel published today and hadn't had a hit with that wizard thing.
No chance. She would have no chance, Rod. No chance.
She would have no chance whatsoever. There is a growing intolerance. And we make jokes about the woke culture, and some of it is ludicrous and hilarious, and we can all laugh about it. But there is a very, very serious side to it, which is it silences public opinion. And when you get one of our most lauded and rightly lauded journalists silenced in this manner by the publishers in this country, that is something which we really, really should worry about, Dan,
And is the book good, Rod? Is it good? Because I'm desperate to read it, but I haven't got my hands on it.
What I've read so far is hilarious, yes. It's partly an attack on identity politics. It's partly Julie's memoir, which is always worth reading, because that woman, as Amanda, I'm sure, will agree, lived one hell of a life. It's very much worth reading. But the main point is that something has to be done to enable books to be published which are not supporting the current ludicrous identitarian politics line, which is shunned by, I would reckon, 85 to 90% of the population.
You're completely right, Rod. Thank you so much. I will say, even though I don't agree with their statement, this is what Liddle Brown said in terms of justifying the Julie virtual cancellation. We believe passionately in freedom of speech at Liddle Brown. We believe that Julie's comments on Islam are not defensible from a moral or intellectual standpoint, and that her book has now become inextricably linked with those views. Rod Liddle will speak.
What a load of cant.
And what a perfect point to end it on.